Welcome back, everybody. Just wanted to get right to it. We're explaining the difference between traditional and digital, right? With marketing in particular, and why traditional marketing, unfortunately, no longer works, but it still has the same principles going into digital marketing. As you can see, in the next maybe 10 years or so, research has found that the investment in digital and e-commerce has exploded exponentially. I believe last year it was about $7 trillion for online e-commerce, like for online spending, as opposed to the traditional brick and mortar. Unfortunately, due to the virus that we can no longer say, there are certain situations where we are transitioning from word of mouth, print ads, radio, and and television to a more digital way of looking at things. Now, I don't know if you're aware. Well, you probably are aware. If you're searching on Google, you're going to see ads, right? That's no different than what you're going to see on television. I can't even watch television. So I'll give you an example. I was watching news, CNN or Fox, and you can see in the segments within maybe one segment, there's like another 3 or 4 minutes of commercial. If you really think about it, it's really no different than what's happening right now in the digital aspect. It's actually a lot more subtle compared to the traditional way of marketing. Now, marketing, you can say when you're driving down, and it's usually pertained, obviously, as it advances, it usually pertains to local. It started off in local areas. If you own a bakery, in order for you to kind of expand and when you first begin, word of mouth. And then as you begin to expand and grow your business, because you're a brick and mortar at one particular location, then you want to start to advertise in your local area. So hence you have now, you had newspapers, and then from newspapers it evolved to radio, and then from radio to television, and then it went into the internet. Now, why the difference in internet or digital compared to traditional is that it's now going global, and there's a lot more tools to be used to interconnect the sales team as well as the marketing team. Back in the day, in marketing, you would have issues where the marketing or the creative would want a particular, let's say, ad to be shot, or an ad print that they needed to spend. Now with digital marketing, the data has been such a I don't know how to explain it, in a way where you can get the data that you need, and hence you can now do the writing, do the copy, ensure that the ads are targeted in a particular area. So that's why it's a huge difference between traditional marketing and digital marketing. Number two, you'll have like a platform that reaches billions of people. At any given time, I would say when television was at its most optimal, I would say probably like the 2010, when people were still watching television, you didn't have the amount of exposure that you would have compared to an ad spend. Now that you're spending more time on the internet, you're spending more time on social media, you're not watching television, that's why traditional marketing no longer seems to work. Because let's be real, if you're watching like any sort of news, the demographics are generally older people. I would say Gen Xers, baby boomers. And then as you go into, and you can even see the transition. Even Facebook ads, although it has the biggest population of people that congregate there, you'll still have like older ads. So the newer the ads, the difference of segmentation will be. Now with algorithms and with specific data that is being implemented into everyday life, we're getting to the point where, and you probably might have noticed right now, you're getting specific ads that are prefabbed just for you. So that amount of data that goes towards as a business owner, that is probably the best way for anybody to get the product in front of you. Now, there's other aspects like email marketing, social media, content writing, influencers. There's a plethora of other things, but some of the concepts, or most of the concepts from traditional marketing, like copywriting, still applies to digital marketing, right? Like, not everybody learns through video or audio. So we want to maximize all three senses. So reading is the first thing that you want to target. Third is visual, and then the second is visual. The third is going to be audio. And if you really think about it, it makes perfect sense, because you're getting to the point of attacking all three senses for your particular market or your particular target. So that's why digital marketing is such a important way to move into the future, especially in advertising and the way we present a brand for our customers, or any customers. Another thing that you want to take in consideration, it's so much faster. You're talking about exposure at such a given time. So traditional marketing, prior to it, was that you had a specific segment during the day. You'll have, let's say, when I was watching, it was like sitcoms, Seinfeld, Simpsons, and then you would have prime time where people would pay for those type of ads. So you would see, after Simpsons, you would see I think in Canada it was like more Procter and Gamble type of family-esque shows, and maybe a couple beer commercials. Now, I don't actually think I see any beer commercials. I don't really have a particular brand. So that's why legacy brands that got carried over from traditional marketing still has a firm grasp, but if they don't evolve and they don't make that transition to that next level of digital marketing and knowing how to target their target audience, they're in for a particular, I wouldn't say rude awakening, but they're going to have problems going forward, because it's in digital marketing, or in marketing in particular, if you sell to everybody, you don't sell to anybody. So if we're based on the tangent of niching down and ensuring that we have our direct target market, that's the important part. Now, because if you're a legacy brand, you have the recognition, the name recognition, but that only goes for so long until if you don't implement it, because as I mentioned, nobody watches television anymore. Now, as people's eyes are no longer in the television, or it's not being advertised on the social platform that they want, and I think there are regulations and whatnot to now go for beer. I'm using beer as an example. I would imagine the specific beer brands have the opportunity, because they know how to target, they know how to specifically niche into their demographics, right? So if you know your demographics, then you know where to target. So you would say, if you want the younger crowd, generally in people going into university, high school, and you want to start segmenting them for, let's say, beer. I'm just using beer as an example. 21, so college, they would probably be on the side of TikTok, Instagram. Common sense, right? But it kind of isn't, because then if you look at traditional marketing, I'm using television as an example. What shows are they watching? Now, before, we used to have so many particular amount of channels. You could probably stretch that amount to maybe like 500 channels to 1,000 channels. Now we have millions of channels, and we're talking about just, you're watching me. So, I hope you're getting value from this, and if you are, please, I would, like and subscribe. Really does help me get the motivation to do more videos. And regardless, even if you don't, I actually do want to provide some value, because I do think that what I can say does resonate with some of you. And the reason why I'm saying this in particular is that marketing has to be used more strategic now. So that's the difference between Traditional marketing was more of a shotgun blast compared to now more a precision sniper rifle, if that makes any sense. So as I mentioned, if you're niching down and you know exactly where you need to be, then you have that avenue with digital marketing. Digital marketing has a number of avenues in knowing about how the operating system works and how the internet works, in particular Google, because Google is king with regards to the search engine, YouTube. As you know, or if you don't know already know, Google is the #1 search engine on the planet, and the second highest or the second most search engine on the planet is also now YouTube. Now, if you look at it from that perspective, the top two are owned by one company. So knowing how they operate, knowing exactly the type of content you're going to put out there, you should know how to appease those people. Now, if you have deeper pockets, you can do something called paper ad, pay-per-click. So if they click your ad because it's a sponsor, they're forcing that ad. So when you see an ad and it says sponsored, before they never used to have that, because that would just appear, and then the laws came in and indicated that they are being paid. That regulates depending on the industry that you're in. So in healthcare, I used to do a little bit of like marketing or understanding how that industry works, and their cost per click is north of $4 to $7 depending on the cities. So it definitely can be expensive. So the best way to build into your own personal branding, and if you'd like to be into in particular digital marketing, you have to know how to know how to build things organically, get better on camera, know what the people are actually searching for. So you have SEO, and that's more control. So as time goes on, I'm going to explain some of the sequence of how I look at marketing. And so those are some of the tips that I have for the difference between traditional marketing and marketing. And I hope you got something out of this, and hope to see you in the next video. And if you would like, you can look at this video or that video. I'm not quite sure where it is, but I'll see you in the next one. Take care.